There is absolutely a fallacy in the gaming space. More is better. And we're seeing this happen more than ever before. We are on this precipice of power, right? There's more power, more things. But with power comes price. And when price increases, now marketing has to kick in because they have to convince the players that this power is worth the price, even though that price will drive us to poverty. Came up with all that as I was saying it. Now I hear you loud and clear. You're like, JD, you're being a little bit dramatic. It's just video games. You're absolutely correct. It's just video games. It's something I do. I share this with my kids. Part of the reason why I'm a huge Nintendo fan is because I shared that with my father, and I share that with my children now. But when I look at the gaming space, I start to ask myself some questions. How am I going to be able to keep doing this? How am I going to be able to keep playing video games responsibly? And not just that, why is it that I have a Nintendo Switch 2 and a Steam Deck OLED that takes up 90% of my gaming, and my PS5 Pro and my PC with a 4080 Super in it sees maybe 5%. That other 5% is playing retro games on some of the consoles that I've collected over the years. Why do I go to the lower end power? And what I actually kind of found myself gravitating towards is that less power equals more fun, which makes almost no sense, especially with marketing. So we should obviously make a coffee about it. Now, I've been playing video games my whole life. I started playing back in the 90s when I was introduced to it through the Game Boy. Now, I've only been making videos about video games since 2021, when everybody started making videos about video games. In doing so, I fell into the fallacy that was I need to stay up to date with all the technology, which started to lead me down a path that got me really financially unstable, to say the least. Gaming hardware as a whole has become increasingly more expensive. Now, what it used to be back in the 90s and the 2000s is when you would get a new piece of gaming hardware, it would come with so much stuff, so many great things. This specific experience was one that a lot of us were like, oh my gosh, yeah, I remember when the blank launched. I mean, for goodness sakes, I remember when I sent my first text message. My first ever text message. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's how old I am. Yeah, I know, crazy stuff. I was around before text messaging. But with this innovation, with the things that came out more and more and more, we got real power. I mean, I remember the leap from the Super Nintendo to the Nintendo 64, going from playing something like Super Mario World, which was crazy in its own right, to Mario 64, a game that blew my mind. I got to play it before it actually released, was one that I'll never forget. I believe that the launch price of the Nintendo 64 was $199, which back in 1990, whatever it was, 6, 7, that was a lot of money. We had friends at Nintendo because my father, not my uncle, worked there for a while. And so that was something that we got a little bit of a hookup on. But there was upgrades. There were actually tangible, big, huge changes. Whether it was going from a normal controller to a Trident, it didn't matter. We saw huge upgrades. So I know, you're hearing what I'm getting at. Just don't buy anything. No, not at all. Here, let me get a little bit more light on this. Not at all. I'm not saying don't buy anything. But what I'm saying is we have hit this wall. We have hit this diminishing return point, which is something that I talk about with friends when it comes to fitness. You want to work just as hard as you can, right? Where you hit the wall of diminishing return. But you never want to get into the diminishing return moment, because once you pass diminishing return, then you start to increase risk of injury. And really, when it comes to gaming in general, not working out, but gaming, you start to incorporate something called price out. And that's what we're experiencing at a grand scale now. We have the Lenovo Legion Go S, the Lenovo Legion Go 2, getting upwards of $1,000, if not $1,300, $1,400. The price is astronomical. We're in the thousands now. And when I look at my Nintendo Switch, as well as my Steam Deck Duo, the hybrid masterpiece, I am smacked right in the face with the reality that we are getting to the point where we are passing diminishing return. Changing angles while making coffee is tough because I have like brew times and such, and we're just up against that brew time. So, law of diminishing return pushed right up against minimum effective dose. How can you get the most bang for your buck? And when I look at my Nintendo Switch 2 paired with my Steam Deck OLED, I am getting just that. I'm getting the most bang for my buck, because for $1,000, which is the cost of the Xbox ROG Ally X, got it right, you're able to get 2 devices to cover the bases of all of them. And I know, it's underpowered. It's not able to play Game Pass, which who wants to pay that anymore for $30 a month? It's not able to play AAA titles like Call of Duty. I grew up in a time where these games actually were a part of innovation. We actually were a part of this push to play games with your friends without having to invite them over to play them at your house. That was kind of a big deal. And if I take you back to that time period, again, I was raised in that time where if I wanted to play multiplayer with my friends, I didn't say, hey boys, just get on. I had to like genuinely plan this whole thing, and they had to come to my house, and when they came to my house, then and only then could we actually play video games. Now, I was a console guy. I couldn't play Crystal Chronicles over the air. I had to have my friends come over with their Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Advance SPs, stay the weekend, and we could play tirelessly overnight, multiple days, eating pizza while using the GameCube. Something I think a lot of people could benefit from right now. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. So back to the paradox of power. Why do I find myself going to lower powered machines? Is it because they're better? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the case at all. I think I find myself going back to that because I'm chasing something that existed long ago. It's when the gaming device itself actually got out of the way and the fun was actually being experienced. It's really hard for a gaming device to get out of the way when that gaming device itself is reminding you every time you look at your bank account that you own it. And I'll be honest, I find myself less and less impressed with what these gaming devices have to offer. Sure, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte in storage, all of this stuff. It's great. I mean, it sounds great on paper, and that's pretty much where it lands. It is this idea that you have all of this at your fingertips, but it comes at such a high cost. For goodness sakes, the Steam Deck itself has made just itself so invaluable in my gaming setup because of the fact that it gets out of the way. Sure, I can play Gears of War better on the Asus ROG Ally X, which I have when I was wasting my money buying devices thinking that I had to do that in order to be taken seriously, but I don't even like that game. And so I think in general, if we're to get back to that original feeling of when gaming really had that charm, had that joy, I think what we need to do is we need to figure out that we ourselves are not the devices we own. We aren't Xbox, we aren't PlayStation, we aren't Nintendo, but rather we are interacting with these games. I mean, for goodness sakes, Nintendo, I feel like the reason why they're able to get away with half the stuff they get away with is because when they do release games, kind of long apart, they also have their service they bundled into the whole thing, and letting you play the games that you grew up with. And in playing the games that you grew up with, you're reminded, oh, this is why I like video games. This is why I do this. There's a charm, there's a memory, there's nostalgia involved. And this right here is exactly why I got involved with all this stuff. I enjoy playing games. I play it on the go because that's the way that my life is now. And this space is all about portable gaming. And also, we drink coffee because that's just what we do here. Feel free to subscribe. Watch the journey as we do whatever we're going to do here. I know that this video probably is going to get it so that these other companies like Lenovo, Asus, and anyone in between MSI, they're probably not going to send me their devices. Because right off rip, I'm like, hey, guess what? They're too expensive. No one needs to buy them. But the off chance that I get them, maybe we'll talk about them. I don't know. I'm certainly not in a rush to because I'm having too much fun using my Steam Deck and my Nintendo Switch 2 in everyday types of things. Speaking of which, if you want EDC stuff, let me know in the comments below. Share this with your friends, and keep a close eye on the community tab where I post links to Discord. All right, guys, have a good one. Play more and be kind. Trap that I fell into was not that video games. Haha, that's a blooper, folks. That is my first blooper. Ethan, you gotta remind me. I am a ninny muggins. I am a ninny muggins.